Hey guys, with the Tonys just a few days away, I figured I would also put out a prediction video on who I think will win and who I think should win. I will be doing both musicals and plays, and it's just a prediction video. A lot of the plays I haven't seen, but I haven't seen a lot of musicals either. Let's have fun with it. Let's go. So, best musical, you have The Band's Visit, Frozen, Mean Girls, SpongeBob SquarePants, and Broadway musical. I think The Band's Visit is going to win this, honestly. Everyone loved it. Everyone's buzzing about it. I seen it. Wasn't my favorite, but I'm different. Who I want to win is SpongeBob SquarePants. Just phenomenal, fantastic, fun night out if you ever go see it. Even if I know people who don't even like the cartoon who love this musical. I mean, that should tell you something right there. In all honesty and in all reality, I think it's probably going to go to Band's Visit. Best play, The Children, Farinelli and the King, Harry Potter and Cursed Child, Junk, and Latin History for Morons. I think it's probably going to go to Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And I want it to go, I don't know who I want it to go. I haven't seen any of these, actually. I do want to see Harry Potter. I wanted to see Farinelli, but it closed before I had a chance to. I know a couple of reviewers really love The Children. So I think if there was going to be a surprise, it would probably be in this category, and maybe the surprise might be The Children. Junk, closed a while ago, so long ago, I thought it was for last season. Best revival of musical is Carousel, My Fair Lady, and Once on This Island. I seen Carousel, not my favorite. I did a review on it, which I'll link to in the description below. If it could go to My Fair Lady or Once on This Island, I actually wouldn't mind. Best revival of a play, you have Angels in America, Lobby Hero, Three Tall Women, The Iceman Cometh, and Travesties. Honestly, I think it's going to go to Angels in America, and I want it to go to Angels in America. Just phenomenal. If you could describe it in one word, it's phenomenal. Maybe another one that might be a surprise and it might not win it, because the only other one I know that people are buzzing about is Three Tall Women. I know Lobby Hero just closed last month, and I know people like that one too, but honestly I think it's going to go Angels. Best book of a musical, you have Itamar Moses for Band's Visit, Jennifer Lee, Frozen, Tina Fey for Mean Girls, and Kyle Jarrow for SpongeBob SquarePants. I really want this to go to Kyle. I mean, he had to come up with a thing about SpongeBob that was not a replication of any movie or episodes. He had to think of something on his own. He did take inspiration from Idiot Box and Squirrel Jokes, but those are only just inspirations. There's no, same jokes from either of those episodes. Problem with Mean Girls is it's exactly like the movies, and there's another reviewer, and I'll link to him, Jacob Talks Broadway, and I totally agree with him that it's basically the movie, and movies shouldn't be nominated, even though Band's Visit is a movie, but I think it's based more on an actual book than a movie, and Frozen is just Frozen. But that's it. But I'll link him because he tells it better than I do. Best original score, you have Adrian Sutton for Angels in America, David Yazbek for Band's Visit, Kirsten Anderson Lopez and Bobby Lopez for Frozen, Jeff Richmond and Nell Benjamin for Mean Girls, and a whole ton of people like Sarah Bareilles and the White Tees and Flaming Lips and T.I. and everybody else for SpongeBob SquarePants. It would be awesome if it went to SpongeBob SquarePants. Just whole different lines of genres of music, and even though it's kind of odd, it flows. But I think it's probably going to go to David, just again because everyone loves The Band's Visit. I didn't even realize there was really a score for Angels in America, so I'm sorry, even though I love that play. But I really wanted to go to SpongeBob, but it'll probably go to Band's Visit. Best leading actor in a play, you have Andrew Garfield, Angels in America, Tom Hollander for Travesties, Jamie Parker, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Mark Rylance for Farinelli and the King, and Denzel Washington for The Iceman Cometh. I think, and I wanted to go to Andrew Garfield. I mean, him as Prior Walter, he's just exuding all the emotions on stage for that play. I mean, oh my God, this guy can act. He's a phenomenal actor on screen, but was really good in Angels in America. I mean, I don't know how he does it. Just phenomenal. Jamie Parker might have a chance just because he's playing the titular character of Harry Potter. Best leading actress in a play, Glenda Jackson for Three Tall Women, Condola Rashad for St. Joan, Lauren Ridloff for Children of a Lesser God, and Amy Schumer for Meteor Shower. I think it's probably going to go to Glenda just because everyone is buzzing about her. She's been winning a ton of awards. It would be really nice. I really wanted to either go to Condola or Lauren. Two phenomenal actresses that gave it their all on stage. I mean, Lauren is a deaf actress. I mean, you don't need to know sign language to know what she was conveying on stage, like her anger, her happiness, her everything on stage. And then Condola is St. Joan. Like I said in one of my reviews for that one, just charismatic, just awesome, phenomenal. You couldn't stop watching her. She was just, every time she was on stage, just wow. I think it's going to go to Glenda, but I really want it to go to Condola and Lauren. Best leading actor in a musical, Harry Hatton Patton for My Fair Lady, Joshua Henry for Carousel, Ethan Slater for SpongeBob SquarePants, and Tony Shalhoub for The Band's Visit. I really, really want this to go to Ethan. I mean, this dude, he does this like 8 times a week, and he has to climb on stuff, he has to hang upside down on stuff, and he has to hold a note, and he does perfectly. And he has to hit high notes too for a couple songs. Joshua's good. That's why I'm like, he might get it too. See, I like Joshua. I did not like the character of Billy Bigelow, a crummy character, even though Joshua was excellent, like excellent singer, excellent actor. Just the character was like, ugh. And I just give it to Ethan, please. Like, please and thank you. Best leading actress in a musical, you have Lauren Ambrose for My Fair Lady, Haley Kilgore for Once on This Island, LaShawns for the Donna Summer musical, Katrina Lang for Band's Visit, Taylor Louderman for Mean Girls, and Jessie Mueller for Carousel. I think it's probably going to go to Katrina. I mean, she was excellent in Band's Visit. It would be awesome if it went to LaShawns. I mean, her as Diva Donna, I mean, she's interacting with the audience, putting herself on stage, she was so much fun. But Katrina, I think, just because she's been winning a lot of things, I think she has it. Best featured actor in a play, you have Anthony Boyle for Harry Potter and Cursed Child, Michael Cera for Labby Hero, Brian Tyree Henry for Labby Hero, Nathan Lane for Angels in America, and David Morris for Iceman Cometh. I think, and I want it to go to Nathan. Like, this guy, I think this is a role of a lifetime for him. And I love The Lion King, and I love the producers. Just, wow. And curse word alert for 3, 2, 1. He plays such an asshole on stage. Like, you hated Roy, but then you kind of feel bad for Roy. He makes you feel different and contradicting feelings towards this character who is such an... warning again, such a douchebag. Just, wow. I can't talk enough about Nathan in Angels. He deserves it, totally. I would be shocked if he does not win it. Best featured actress in a play, you have Susan Brown, Angels in America, and Noma Demaswini for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Deborah Finlay for The Children, Denise Goff for Angels in America, and Laurie Metcalf for Three Tall Women. I think it's probably going to go to Denise, since she's been winning a lot. But it would be nice if it went to Susan, just because she has to play both men and women on stage, and she played about 8 different characters. I mean, she was playing doctors, she was playing a rabbi, the last Bolshevik, Joe's mom, one of the angels later on. Just a ton of characters, and she has to do different voices, and she has to, and mind you, she's English, so she has to change her voice into American and Russian and a Jewish rabbi and this and that, just phenomenal. It would be awesome if it went to her, but I think it's probably going to go to Denise. Best featured actor in a musical, you have Norbert Leo Butz for My Fair Lady, Alexander Gamignani for Carousel, Gray Henson, Mean Girls, Gavin Lee, SpongeBob SquarePants, and Ariel Stachel for The Band's Visit. This one I'm torn. I wanted to go to Ariel or Gavin. Ariel just because he was the best singer in The Band's Visit. Just phenomenal. And it sucks that he only had one song. But then again, Gavin, he's tap dancing on 4 legs. And he's singing, and he has that show-stopping number, I'm Not a Loser. I mean, just probably the best number in SpongeBob, even though all the numbers are fun. I did see Carousel, and I thought Alexander was okay as Enoch Snow. Like, nothing that blew me away. I know a lot of people want Norbert to win, because there's a lot of Norbert fans, including a couple of my friends who really love him. But if I had to choose, it'd be either Gavin or Ariel. But if it went to Norbert, I'd be fine with that, too. Best featured actress in a musical, you have Ariana DeBose for Summer Dawn, Summer Musical, Renee Fleming for Carousel, Lindsay Mendez for Carousel, Ashley Park for Mean Girls, and Diana Rigg for My Fair Lady. I think it's probably going to go to Lindsay, honestly, because everybody loved her. Like, anytime you see any reviews about Carousel, they say she's the best part, because her character isn't that bad. Actually, she was probably the best character in the show. And then, Renee was good, too. Who I want to win, it would be awesome if Ariana DeBose win. I mean, she was so good in Summer. I mean, I loved her as Disco Donna. I mean, when I saw the show, she was performing on like a bum ankle. But I didn't even realize if they didn't put that slip of paper in the playbill, I wouldn't have known. She was still dancing her butt off on stage and just giving her all, and just phenomenal acting too, and singing and everything, and especially MacArthur Park. Wow, when she's singing with Storm and LaShawn, just awesome. But in reality, I think it's going to go to Lindsay. Best Scenic Design of a Play, you have Miriam Boother for Three Tall Women, Jonathan Fensom for Farinelli and the King, Santo Loquasto for Iceman Cometh, Christine Jones for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and Ian McNeil and Edward Pierce for Angel in This America. I wanted to go to Ian and Edward just because the scenes were awesome. Like, they had streets, they had hospital rooms, they had everything else. Like, they managed to transform one room into another, into like a funeral thing, and rooms lifting up, rooms pointing into other rooms. I really liked the focal point when they had Roy's room point into Pryor's room. That was genius. I heard Farinelli's was cool, and I heard that Harry Potter's is really cool too. I a lot of them I want to see, and I haven't yet, or one of them I can't because it closed already. Best Scenic Design of a Musical, Dane Lafferty for Once on This Island, Scott Pask for The Band's Visit, Scott Pask, Finn Ross, and Adam Young for Mean Girls, Michael Yergin for My Fair Lady, and David Zinn for SpongeBob SquarePants. Wanted to go to David, really do. There's something about, like, the scenic design for that musical is genius, because every single item on that stage is items that you find in the ocean, unfortunately. All this garbage, and then you have to look to the Great Garbage Patch of the Pacific Ocean, and you find all of this stuff. You find, like, pool noodles and milk jugs and safes and bicycles and stuff on, like, beaches and stuff. And he incorporated to make it look like an ocean. So that was nice use of recycling and stuff. But then again, Scott Pask might get it just because, you have the bus station, and then it looked like actual movie sets with the Band's Visit. Because you have, like, that cafe and the bus station, or was that a train station? Well, bus/train station. Inside one of the houses, and the scene with the telephone and everything else. I heard My Fair Lady's pretty good too. But honestly, I think it's going to be between Scott and David. Best Costume Design of a Play, you have Jonathan Fensom from Farinelli and the King, Nikki Gillibrand for Angels in America, Katrina Lindsay for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Anne Roth for Three Tall Women, and also Anne Roth for Iceman Cometh. I think it might go to Nikki, but I don't know, just because the clothes are newer. I mean, 80s was like 30 years ago, but still. I heard the costuming for Farinelli was good, and Three Tall Women, so, I mean, Anne might have a leg up, because she's already nominated for twice, so, I don't know. It might either go to Jonathan, Nikki, or Anne. Best Costume Design of a Musical, Greg Barnes for Mean Girls, Clint Ramos for Once on This Island, Anne Roth for Carousel, David Zinn, SpongeBob SquarePants, and Catherine Zuber for My Fair Lady. Again, I wanted to go to David, because he had to come up with costumes for 2D cartoony characters, and they couldn't be like things that you know how, like, with Chuck E. Cheese's or whatever, or when you see shows for little kids, they just put people in these giant costumes, and he didn't do that. The only one that comes close to that is Larry the Lobster, because he has the big muscly cartoony arms and stuff, and maybe Mr. Krabs with the boxing gloves that represent his claws. The rest are just people, like, in not regular clothes, but what represents these characters, like SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, Mr. Krabs, Squidward, Pearl, Plankton, even Karen. Like, he managed to transform Karen to look like, even though she's pushing around a computer, she still has to be dressed as a person, a futuristic person, but a person nonetheless. The only ones that might take it from David is either Anne or Catherine. just because they just take place all the way back then. They take place in the 1910s or earlier, and they might have a leg up for that. Best lighting design of a play, you have Neil Austin for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Paul A. Constable for Angels in America, Jules Fisher and Peggy Eisenhower for Iceman Cometh, Paul Russell for Farinelli and the King, and Ben Stanton for Junk. I really think Angels has this one in the bag. Just, they had to use lights for so many different things. Neon lights, fire, scene with that homeless person, lights coming up, lights coming down, lights in the hospital room, lights shining on Pryor, so many uses of lights, and also because the logo for Angels itself is in lights. I would be shocked if Angels didn't win this. I think, and I want it to go to Angels. Best lighting design of a musical, Kevin Adams for SpongeBob SquarePants, Jules Fisher and Peggy Eisenhower for Once on This Island, Donald Holder for My Fair Lady, Brian McDevitt for Carousel, and Tyler Michelot for Band's Visit. If anything, this is the only one I want to go to Carousel, honestly, just because the lighting, especially for the scenes on the seashore, they have to make it look like it's morning, noon, and night. And they do this so flawlessly, especially when they have the little ships sailing on the ocean. And it looks like an actual, outdoors in New England. I've been on the shores of Cape Cod, and I've been on the shores in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. And that's what it looks like, honestly, the piers there. And it looks realistic. If that one wins, I wouldn't mind for that one for Carousel. But it would be cool for, SpongeBob SquarePants, just because they have to deal with the volcano and the lights when they peer in the thing and everything else. It's going to be either between Kevin and Brian, honestly. Best direction of a play, Marianne Elliott for Angels in America, Joe Mantello for Three Tall Women, Patrick Marber for Travesties, John Tiffany, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and George C. Wolfe for Iceman Cometh. I know I'm being biased, but it needs to go to Marianne. You're directing a 2-part play that equals 7.5, 8 hours. It is a Fantasia, It should go to Marianne, and I want it to go, and I think it's going to go. Best direction of a musical, you have Michael Arden for Once on This Island, David Cromer, The Band's Visit, Tina Landau for SpongeBob SquarePants, Casey Nicholaw for Mean Girls, and Bartlett Sher for My Fair Lady. I think it's probably going to go to David Cromer for Band's Visit, again, just because it's buzzed about so much. But it would be really cool if it went to Tina. I mean, without her vision, SpongeBob SquarePants wouldn't be where it is right now. And little known fact, she actually didn't want to do it at all, because what everyone else had that mindset, like, it's SpongeBob, but then she had this idea, and they went with this idea, like, she had this vision, and they ran with the vision, and everybody was on board, and everybody loved it, and it turned out fantastic, and she directed it into greatness. I love SpongeBob. I think it's going to go to David, but I want it to go to Tina. Best choreography, you have Christopher Gattelli for My Fair Lady, Christopher Gattelli again for SpongeBob SquarePants, Stephen Hoggett for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Casey Nicholaw for Mean Girls, and Justin Peck for Carousel. I think it's going to go to Justin, honestly, because you have these really long dance numbers, and you also have ballet, which you really don't see in other Broadway shows. And that would be the only other one. I can understand if he won that one. But if it went to Christopher for SpongeBob, that would be awesome, because there's part of the show where the electric skates have to skateboard on stage, and they have to go on mini half pipes to do this and not fall off the stage, and they have to flip their skateboards and just all kinds of crazy things. And then, you have, dancing on certain, props and whatnot, and people coming down, and the mermaid and this and that, just crazy. In reality, I think it's going to go to Justin, but it would be really nice if it went to Christopher for SpongeBob. Best orchestrations, you have John Clancy for Mean Girls, Tom Kitt for SpongeBob SquarePants, Anne-Marie Milazzo and Michael Starobin for Once on This Island, Jamshid Sharifi for Band's Visit, and Jonathan Tunick for Carousel. I think it's going to go to either Jonathan or Jamshid, honestly. Again, because people seem to love Carousel and people really love Band's Visit. But it would be really cool if it went to Tom. I just love SpongeBob so much. It'd be Sound design in a play, you have Adam Cork Travesties, Ian Dickinson for Autograph, Angels in America, Gareth Fry for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Tom Gibbons for 1984, and Dan Moses Trier for The Iceman Cometh. I think this one's going to be a surprise. I really do. Because I think it might, because it's the only one it's nominated for, but it might go to 1984, especially when they had all that debacle, if it was eligible or not. And I heard that the sound was like really freaky and creepy, and people like fainting and this and that, and because of other things going on in that play. But it'd be really cool if it went to Angels in America, just because the different sounds and the booming voice, especially the angel's voice, just everything about that play. So I think it's going to be between Ian and Tom. The final one, sound design in a musical, Kai Harada for Band's Visit, Peter Helensky for Once on This Island, Scott Lehrer for Carousel, Brian Ronan for Mean Girls, and Walter Trebeck and Michael Dobson for SpongeBob SquarePants. I really want this to go to SpongeBob, because beginning of the musical, Ethan as SpongeBob does all these wacky moves, and they have to match his movements with sound. And then you have like Squidward and his feet, like his floppy feet, and then when Pearl's like having her outbursts and stomping, they have to do the big boom 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 sound. I saw an interview with Ethan, and he says sometimes he'll try to throw these guys off during that moment when SpongeBob is like moving around, and he says sometimes he'll purposely ad-lib to throw them off, and he says he has yet to do it. And so that's how great these guys are. They need that. They deserve the Tony just for that alone. I can't remember sound design for Band's Visit. I never really made note of it. And Carousel, I don't know. It really needs to go to SpongeBob for that one. Those are my predictions. I could be either right or wrong. It's just a video done for fun. Honestly, I think out of all the musicals, somebody's going to sweep. I have a feeling somebody's going to sweep. It's going to be a four-way between SpongeBob, Carousel, Band's Visit, or Mean Girls. Even though I didn't mention, I don't think anything for Mean Girls. And I'll probably do a video about my dislike about Mean Girls, but I don't know when that's going to be out or when it's going to come out. I don't know. And for play, Angels, I have a feeling Angels is going to sweep. And if not, maybe Harry Potter. I don't know, but I really have a good feeling that Angels might sweep it. And that's it. Tell me in the comments below who you think might win it in any of these categories that I mentioned. Or if you want to start a discussion, go right ahead. If you disagree with me, put it in the comments below. And that's all I have to say. Bye.